Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing bridges. Now, this particular puzzle has a phenomenal rating. It's got a 95% rating as of the time of recording. And keep watching. I'm looking at another one that's got 96% rating coming as well next. And really looking forward to these puzzles. Now, the constructor of today's puzzle, Timotab, we've actually featured one of his other puzzles not too long ago, I'm going to say. I think it was Happy Birthday to Fast Sandals. So, belated happy birthday one more time, now that I actually do realize there is an individual that is, well, I was going to say is Fast Sandals, but it has the handle Fast Sandals online. So, happy birthday to you. And I'm looking at this puzzle and it just looks absolutely fascinating. And clearly, Sleuth is mesmerized as well by the bridges. He's standing on the near shore with a bunch of bridges in the background. When you see today's grid, this is probably the best reference I can actually recreate to try and refer to some of the bridges that are in store for us. Anyhow, let's put all of that aside. Let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets. So, we are playing Bridges by Timotab, and you can see a whole bunch of them in here. Here's a bridge. Here is another bridge. Here is another. Here is another. There is no doubt there is a lot of bridges in this puzzle. So, rules-wise, we've got quite a few variants today with a very colourful grid, I might add. Normal Sudoku rules apply, and that means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Then we have the renbans. So digits may not repeat on a purple line, and the line must contain an unordered set of consecutive digits. Now I'm trying to find a line that makes sense, and this is probably the best I can think of. So if this cell here was a 2, the following cells could be 1, 3, 4. Now it's not ordered. That could be a 3, that could be a 4, that could be a 1, for example. Aside from the white Kropki, ignore that for the moment. Here, no, that's fine as well. That's still unordered. One other possibility, of course, is it could be 2, 3, 4, 5. That's also unordered. What I couldn't do is have 2, 3, 4, 6. That is no longer a consecutive set. And obviously in some cases you could repeat the digits, such as a double 2 in here, but we're not allowed any repeated digits, so that also doesn't work. Right, next, what else do we have? We've got region sum lines. So box borders divide a blue line into segments of the same sum. So if you imagine that this cell here was a 6, these 3 cells that are essentially the other segment of this blue line divided by the box borders, well, they're going to have to add up to 6, and that could be 1, 2, 3. That's one way of completing this region sum line. Then we have German whisper lines, and along a green line, adjacent digits must differ by at least 5. If that cell here is a 2, these would have to be 7, 8, or 9, so that they are indeed 5 or more away. If that cell here was an 8, this could be 1, 2, or 3, but obviously not the 2, so that's 1 or 3. And here is an oscillating pattern between high digits, 6, 7, 8, 9, low digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, and repeated. No 5s. Dutch whispers. So we've already placed a 6 in here. Along a yellow line, adjacent digits must differ by at least 4. So if this is a 6, this would have to be 1 or 2, for example. And then again, this would have to be, 5, 6, etc. Careful about Dutch whispers. You can have a 5 on them. That is totally allowed. You could have 5 with a 1 next to it. That's fine. What else do we have? Kropki dots. Digits separated by a white dot are consecutive digits. So if this cell here was a 2, this would have to be 1 or 3 to make sure that they are indeed consecutive. And digits separated by a black dot are in a 1 to 2 ratio. If this cell here was a 2, this would have to be 1 or 4, so that one cell is double the other. Not all dots are shown. A 2 in here with a 3 clearly deserves a white dot. Doesn't have it. It's not a problem. 2 with a 4 in here could have a black dot, but doesn't have it. Also not a problem. So, lots of rules, but certainly created a very pretty looking Sudoku for today. So if you feel like traversing these bridges that Sleuth is admiring from a distance, you can of course do so by playing with the link in the description down below. And with that said, you can restart. I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So I'll tell you, there's quite a few observations I'm noticing already. One is, these region sum lines are the entire row. This region sum line, this region sum line. And they're divided, obviously, into 3 segments. This segment, this segment, and this segment, if I can even select this segment. And I know that these segments will add up to 15. When we get onto it, we will talk about why. Same again here. But I think I like this German whisper the most to try and find a break. And I should have started with, actually I can start. These 2 cells are definitely 4, 8. Here is something that I can actually pencil mark. Now, for them to be 4 or more away, think about all the black Kropki dots that are available. 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, and 4, 8. Well, that's a difference of 1. That's not going to work. 2, 3, and 4. Only one of them can actually go on a Dutch whisper line. So that's 4, 8. And it may be helpful when we actually think about what's going on with this German whisper line, given they're all in box 3. Right, so remember, German whisper lines oscillate between 2 polarities. I don't know if this is high or low. I'm just going to call it purple. And I don't know if this is high or low. I'm just going to call it orange. Now, I've got 4 oranges in row 3. I've only got 3 purples. And 9 of these purples could be 4 or 6. If you think around what that would mean, if I put a 6 in here, that would be a 1. That's the only digit that's 5 or more away. That'd be another 1 and a broken Sudoku. So no 4s or 6s, which are the most restricted digits on the German whisper line, which means whichever one of the purple 4, 6 is on the sides, joint with a 5. Can't have a 5 on here. Notice already that 4, 8 is helping us. Now, the other thing about a long run, of German whisper lines where all the digits have to be different. Don't think about the purple 4, 6, which I am going to just color for my purpose. Think about the orange 4, 6. Now, this could be the orange 4, 6. And therefore, if it is a 6, it can only be next to a 1. If it's a 4, it can only be next to a 9. Same for this cell here, which is adjacent on the German whisper line. Now, the next most restrictive digits to think about are the 3s and 7. Now, if you try and place the orange 3 or 7 in here, you're going to break the puzzle, because the only 2 digits that can be next to it are 1 9s or 2 8s. It's easier if I'm just going to randomly pick the 6, for example, just to sort of illustrate this, but just bear in mind that all of this is applicable. So 1 and 2 have to be next to it, but the 1 is not available. So the 3 7 would have to be in here. Next to it would have to be a 2 8. And again, you would need to follow that, just keep working through the most restrictive digits, because the next thing that is available would be the orange 2 8. And the orange 2 8, let's say it is an 8, has to be surrounded by a 2 and a 3. It can't be surrounded by 4s and 6s. So this would have to be 2 8 as well. And then lastly, the most permissive of all the digits would go in here with the 1 9. And then lastly, this would be, did I do this correctly? I'm pretty sure I did. And this would, no, not 1 9, excuse me. The 3 7, and then finally this would be 1 9. Just double checking. I know it's just when you don't know the polarity, it's easy to make mistakes. 4 6, 3 7, 2 8, 1 9, 3 7, 2 8, 1 9. This is all looking good. Now, I obviously don't know which side is, essentially, it's going to be like ascending or descending, this German whisper line. And I don't know the direction. Not only do I not know the polarity, I don't know the direction. So this 4 6 could legitimately be in here as a 6, then a 1, then a 7, then a 2, then an 8, then a 3, etc. But the reason I don't want to do that just yet is I'm spotting some immensely helpful things that would just disappear once you double it all up. Such as a 1 and 9 on a renban could only be next to a 2 8 purple one. 1 can only go to a 2, 9 can only go to an 8, and clearly they're going to be the same polarity. Sorry, one moment, please. Right, sorry about that. One of the usual shenanigans of people parking and my driveway. See if I can pick up where things were. So yeah, so I think like what I'm doing right now is deliberately not doing the reverse, just so that I can spot things such as this. So that 1-9 can only be a 2-8. That 3-7 could have been a 2-8 or a 4-6, but I've already placed a 2-8, so this has to be 4-6. And it would have to be purple, which actually makes this 1-9. And let me explain the logic here. So if this is a 9, that would be 8. And if this is 9, that means purple is high, and therefore this is 7 and this is 6. Then you have 8 and 6 to get to, remember, the 15. All right, so this is probably the right time to do it. I'm just going to make sure I write this in so that I don't forget about it. Then let me just explain why. So if you add up all of the numbers on row 4, and we know because it's Sudoku rules, it's going to be +1, +2, +3, +4, you will get to 45. We know that because of the region sum lines, we have 3 equal sections: segment 1, segment 2, segment 3. So you take the 45, you divide it by 3, and know that each section essentially is going to add up to 15. So if it's 8 and 6, that'll be 14. 1 would make it 15. If it's 2 and 4, well, that's 6. I need a 9 to get it to 15. And this is starting to get very interesting and clever. So again, 2-8, this 1-9, very helpful. This 2-8 would be 3-7. And this will be orange. Then I have an orange 2-8 and an orange 4-6. This German whisper line, a 1-9, and this is purple. This has to be a 3-7 purple. That's the only thing that's remaining, which gives me a 10 and therefore a 5. But remember, I'm still pencil marking, because again, the reverse could happen. Then the orange 4-6 can't be this cell. It would have to be this cell, which works. It's consecutive with the 3-7. And then lastly, this cell is, what is left? 2-8. Now, the trouble with everything that I've just said is the reverse can also be true. And if I try and do this now, I'm just going to lose any sense of what's going on. Essentially, this 1-9 could be 4-6. Well, not 4, but definitely a 6. Then this could be a 1, and then mirror image it down column 5. And I'm going to resist temptation for a second to do that and see if there's any chance that we could instead use the Dutch whisper line in box 3 to avoid it. And let's just think about this. So if this is a 4, this would have to be a 9. And it's not a 9. Let me explain that. If it's 4, that would be 8. And then Dutch whisper, you can only be next to 8 and 9. So this would have to be a 9. But then the region sum line here means that I have a digit that takes these 3 cells and it's still going to sum up to them. So 9 plus even a 1 and 2, I'm already at 12. I'm not going to be able to write that in here, which means that this is 8. Now, if we actually have a digit now, and this is 4, and this is going to be 1, 2, or 3 because Dutch whispers, and the 4 is not available. The 4 makes this 8 or 9, which is also interesting because essentially that tells me a lot about this region sum line. I know that it's going to add up to 8 or it's going to add up to 9. Now, if it's going to add up to 8 with the 4 not available, the only option I have is 1, 2, 5. Is that even possible? Let me just think this through. So that would be 1, 2, 5. That would have to be 6. That would have to be 7. That would have, if this is 6, then purple is high, and therefore this is low. This would have to be a 1. And I've already used the 1, yeah, and therefore I've used the 5. That would have to be 6. So yeah, that breaks. So this is not 8. This is definitely 9. And it's not 2, 3, 4. There has to be a 1. Oh, come on. Sorry, I'm going to have to pause again 1 more second. I'm really sorry about the interruptions, but hopefully it's just a jiffy for you guys. Right, sorry about that. Let's see if I can pick this up. So, because there is a 9, this can't be 2, 3, 4. Therefore, I would need a 1. And with the 4 gone, just need to think about my options now. So I could do 1, 2, 6. I could do 1, 3, 5. Just thinking if that's already forcing it. Because if this is 4, 6. Right, okay. I'm not going to fully mirror this. I am going to literally only just mirror these 2 cells. Because I think that's going to be helpful. So this could be 4, 6, and this could be 1, 9. But remember, I removed the 1 as an option, so this was never a 1. I've removed the 4 as an option, so this is never a 4. And because there can't be a 1 adjacent to either of these cells, or this can't be a 1, this can never be a 6. So this is definitely 1, 9. So I don't actually have to mirror this anymore. This can only be 3, 7. And because I have to have the 1 in here, this can only be a 9. We've got our polarity. And luckily, we don't have to reverse this. So this is red. Purple is blue rather than purple. Yep, that works. And this 9 now is next to a 3, an 8, a 2, a 7. We get a lot now. A 2, a 9, a 4, a 7. This has to be now the 5, the 3. This is not a 3. 6, 8, 1, 6, and not... In fact, 6 gives me actually the 5. And this is now definitely a 4. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Right. With a 5 placed, 1, 3, 5 doesn't work. This is definitely... I didn't mean to do that. This is now definitely 1, 2, 6. And this can't be a 6. I didn't have to remove the... And it's not a 3, obviously. And this is now a 7. And we're off and running. 2 has to be next to 1 or 3. And it's not a 1. That's just 3. And yeah, we're definitely off and running. 4, not in any of these cells. That's a 4. We know what these 3 are now. This is 1, 5, 6, I'm going to say. These 3 cells are known. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 5, 7, 8. Not an 8. And then to complete this box, we need 2, 3. Hang on, why did I add a 9? I meant to remove the 8. And then 2, 3, and 9. Okay. This now, with the 2 and 4 gone, this can only be 3, 6. And the 3 has to be in here. And this is a 6. That gives me, again, polarity on this German whisper line. I don't really need the colors anymore, do I? This is 8 or 9. To be next to the 3. This could be anything. It's not 3. It can't be a 4, otherwise it'd be a double 9. So this is 1 or 2 only. And therefore this is a high digit that is not a 7, but could be anything else. 6, 8, or 9. 6 now. Where am I going with this? I mean, the region sum line is sort of interesting, but I don't know what's on here. So 8 is not here. Could I have a 9 on here? Let me just think about this. The minimum I could have on here, so 1 and 3 are not allowed. So I can have a 2, a 4, and that would be 6. And if I put a 9 in here, I've broken it, haven't I? Because that's adding up to 15, and I'm not going to be able to make this segment add up to 15, because the 9 is gone. So no 9's here, no 9 here. 9 is one of 2 cells. The fact that this is quite high to start with the 2, 4, they're equal to the 6 already. And it has to be more than 2, 4, because if I put 2 and 4 on here, I'm in trouble because I've got 2 cells that add up to 6. They're equal to this one, and therefore these 2 cells are going to have to be the same. So that's not going to happen. I'm fairly sure if I don't use the 2, again, I'm in trouble. If I do 4, 5, the next one that's available is a 7, because the 6 isn't. This is too big. This is 12 and 4. That's already 16. That would have to be a 10. So there has to be a 2 in here. And therefore this is a 1, which is not brilliant because it leaves 6 on the table here. We did say the 2, if the 2 is there, there can't be a 4 or we're in trouble. And this is not a 4, this is a 4. I really don't know if this is the intended path, but I'm taking it. So next set of options. So if I don't use the 5, essentially the rest of this is 2, 5, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So this is made up of 2, 5, 7, or 9. Now, if I don't use the 5, then I'm on 2, 7, and 9. That's 18. I'm not going to make that work. So I have to have the 5 as well. Now I'm at 7, which is 1 more than the 6. So I can't have the 9 because this would have to be a 10 otherwise. So, but I could have a 7, and then I could have an 8, and that would work. So 2, 5, 7 is 14, 6 and 8 is 14, and this is a 9. This is looking good. Curious if this is the intended path, or did I just overcomplicate it? This is not a 9. Still could be either, though. This 2, 5, 7, no clue. These cells now are 3, 4, and 9. And we know that the 3 and 4 are the 2 consecutive digits, so that gives me a 9 here. Right. This renban is fascinating. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which means we have the digits 1 to 9 once each. And where is the 9 on this renban? Well, it's none of these cells. Sudoku says no. It's not this cell. Sudoku says no again. It can only be here. That's the 9. Same for whatever this digit is. 6, 8 is not in here. 6, 8 is there. We can hopefully do a bit of Sudoku. So 1 is definitely in here. 2 is definitely there. What are the other digits? 5 is definitely here, as is the 7. So 1, 5, 7. And therefore this is 2, 6, 8. Lovely. What, Kropki dot not necessarily helpful here. The 2 could be next to the 1, the 6 could be next to the 5 or 7, and the 8 could be next to the 7. So only thing that's useful is this is not a 5 on a German whisper line. The 3, 4 must be next to an 8 or 9, and it's not a 9. That's an 8, and that's a 3, and that's a 4. That means that this is a 6, and therefore this is a 6, for the reasons we walked through earlier. This can no longer be a 5. Yeah, because this is 2 or 8. It's not consecutive with that. That's a 1, 7 pair. That is the 5. This is going well. 8 resolves these two. That's 2. That's 8. This is 1, 2, or 3. Not a 3. 1 would be next to a 2, which it isn't. That's not 1. That is a 2. And the 2 can't be next to a 1. That is a 4. 8 gives me a 7, gives me a 1. This is not 6, 8, or 9. It is just 7. We've nearly done this. We haven't even had to use... Oh, we can do this again. Region sum line, same logic. It's adding up to 45. It's 3 segments, each of which is 15. 14 in here, that's another 1. This is 3, 5, and we're done. 5, 5, and 3. It's interesting if this is pattern is 4. So I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I'm sure I could come up with something different. Probably should go back to magic squares, have a look at other possibilities than what I've just created here. The fact that it's the same regularly, though, is curious. That's all I'm going to say. Not a 2, not a 6, that is a 1, that is a 2. I'm just tidying up. Pencil marks, not 5, not 5 is 5. Not a 3. Have we got anything about 5, 7s, and 8s? Not an 8 again, so that is the 8. That's a 5, 7 pair that I don't seem to be able to do much with. That's not a 9. That's not a 3. What did I remove? Nothing. That's not a 3, and that's as far as I could take it. So I guess these bridges at the bottom are useful. They are intended. Let's start with these two cells. I need a 5, which is not going to be on a black Kropki dot. That's the 5. I need whatever this digit is. 6? 6, yeah. 3. Dutch whisper line away from it. It is... Come on. I mean, let's do the easy ones. 5 is either 4 or 6. It's not 4. That's 6. And this has to be reasonably high. This has to be the 7. No, it doesn't have to be. I could do... No, I can't do 7 here. Sorry, I'm probably going too fast here. I need something that is 4 or more away. So my options are 7, 8, 9. It's not a 9. Now, if I pick 8 to make this renban work, it would have to be 5, 6, 7, 8. And because this cell can't be a 7, this is a 7. Which does make this open to a few options. It's 4 or 8. Both of which are available, actually. I can't see that resolution just yet. This is, oh, that 6 gave me a 1, which also gives me a 2 on the Dutch Whisper. Excellent. Surely the region sum lines. Yeah, this has got to be an 8. I'm already at 9. If I put a 4, I'm only at 6. That's 8. That's 4. And therefore that's 1 to make this add up to 10. And this is whatever this digit is, 8. Excellent. I need a 1. I need a 9. More region sum lines. What is available? 2, 4. Yeah, nothing else is available. This is 2, 4. This is a 3. That doesn't help because that 3 could be next to either of them. That 2 or 4. So if it's a 2 on the renban, because I was thinking if that's a 4, that would have to be a 9, which it can be. But that 2 or 4 on the renban actually helps because if that's 2 to be consecutive, it would need to be 1 or 3, which are not available. So that's 4. That has to be a 5. That has to be a... I didn't mean to do that. That has to be a 2, and this is now 7 or 9. And again, both of which are available. So let's not rush into this. That 9 does give me a 9 here, and this is a 7. Fantastic. And just some quick Sudoku for the finish, I guess. 3 gives me a 2, 9 and 3. 5 gave me a 7 and 5. The 6 is resolved, and 2, 5, 7 in the middle. This is not 5 or 7, that's 2. This is not 2 or 5, it's 7. And if I've not made any mistakes, that's a 5 for the finish. It's also Sven's birthday. Happy birthday, Sven. And thank you fantastically, Timotab, for this phenomenal puzzle. What an outstanding puzzle. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle and video. See you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.